near Vologda, in the village of Semenkovo, which is 14 kilometers from the city center. There is an architectural and ethnographic museum of the Vologda region, consisting of wooden buildings transported there many of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Over there, the church is named St. George Church. It's the end of the 17th century, so you can imagine that this church is about 300 years and set away from the village on the hill. The church is cold and not available for tourists in winter. This is a small church in Russian, Chasovnya. It closed too, and you could see on the top of the roof elements of wooden decor. In the foreground and two windmills. Actually, they can walk. The museum actually recreated the appearance of the village in the Russian north. There are two streets and placed along them huts. The museum displays rural architecture mainly of east of the Vologda region. Now let's move closer to the house. Here is severe lock in Russian called Petistenak. It's like 5 walls, yes, where both residential and economic part are united under one roof, as usually done in the Russian north. Locks near the houses are used for their intended purpose, for heating. Let's try come in. It's a very small door, because people who live in 18th century had a very small height. They approximately were about 1 meters and 50 centimeters. And another main purpose was to keep the warm. Yeah. So what we can see equipment for making clothes. Yeah. You can see a special place for where you can sit. This place was for homeless. If anyone from homeless came to a home, you had to give him to food and gave him opportunity to have a rest, and they suggested to take a seat on this bed. So there is additional bed. This cartoon. This is furnace, and this is place for this place used like a bed too, because it was a winter part of house, and nearly all family live here all the winter, and the family had a lot of members, maybe 10 or 20, so they could sleep here, here, or even on the floor. Yeah. So.
Это вот красный угол.
It's called like red corner for praying. What is this? It's souvenirs. Okay.
Это вот мастер-классы по валянию валенок.
Mm-hmm.
Так, вот здесь бабику.
Okay. It's oh my god, it's furnace. Oh, it's furnace. Yes. So it's you can even cook the food here. Oh, it's very hot. And maybe you don't know, but when the fire put out, you can wash children over there. It's really true. Some people try to wash their body over there. Pancakes. Oh. Samovar. Teapot. Old teapot. Wow. It's very nice to go in from the cold when the transition to the summer against trenches cold. It's very obsolete door. Is decorate elements. They're on the second floor. This is Porsche about Russia and America. Exposition dedicated to Russia and America. About that, our city and the United States of America has a long history, cooperation, especially because one of the founders of Fort Ross in California was born in our city. And other posters about old houses from collected from our region. Oh, grandma. I think it's this house is for poor belonged poor peasant. So I finish to observe this house. Maybe it would be interesting information that this house belong America. This belong Russian, but owners now live in Boston, and they work in hospital like doctors. Let's go to another house called House Yurova, built in late 19th century. Very big house for those times. House is a type of house cattle yard complex built in one row with 5 vaults in residential section of the house. The dwelling part stands on the high floor storeroom divided into 2 parts. Well, let's see how much water was there up. Ah, close. Okay. This part for it's this part of house called economical part for this doors is very small, very low. Oh. Wardrobe, I think. Yeah. Oh, my grandma had the same for keeping substance. Oh my god. What is this? No, looks like a kettle. No, I think it's for water. So many old-fashioned stuff. This stuff made from birch. Okay. Okay. This is another house. I think it's the window part of the house too.
Уважаете у нас больше зажиточных. Да уж не просто зажиточных. Они вот покупают на рубашки кулачки, шапку, альфуражку или пояски. Вот. Только уж он благотворительствует, но только крестьянам честным и трезвым, а не пьяница всяким. Уж по причине этого в соседних деревнях мужики-то перестали даже вот купить.
What else? Very comfortable. It's a bedroom. Yeah. Oh. Okay. This is pillows. Это подушки? Это подушки такие?
Да, подушки такие, но я думаю, что тут подушки, наверное, может быть, возможно, и такие были у крестьян. Набиты, наверное, стеном.
Zinger. Very famous from Zinger. Oh, I had same chairs in my grandma village. suitcase with treasure. I think.
Сейчас я хочу
I think
ходить по Semenkovo.
it's attic. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh. Okay. I think the people hold here food for animals. I forgot how to say in English. What? Maybe like ha for cow or other animals. Presents. Another dress. This, I think it is not house, this is like a warehouse. Okay. Sleighs. So you can ride on them. It's old Russian banya. Так. Oh, it's really tight here. It's Russian banya. It's the stones. Place where I can sit. Okay. I see. Okay. Let's see another houses. I have heard that the house over there can show us like people made a butter many years ago. So, girl. Okay.
Здравствуйте.
Здравствуйте. У вас очень интересная одежда.
Почему?
Я просто делаю для своих друзей видео для американцев.
Хорошо.
Они будут просто удивлены.
Да, ну
Да, они не видели никогда такой одежды.
Так а чего, у вас тоже вот в руках-то держите, непонятно, чего и есть-то машина какая-то. Ну, не знаю.
Вот
Ну, так
такие.
ладно, хорошо.
We-
Приезжайте к нам в деревню, у нас хорошо.
Thank you. We have a very beautiful girls. Like
Ой,
you
не
see.
знаю, что говоришь, что.
Спасибо. До свидания.
Это тесто, греча, чего? Мне так
Hello.
Близко
What
не
is
надо.
this?
Греча,
Греча.
зерно.
Мгм.
А, тесто.
Мгм.
Сейчас птиц напечем. Да весну будем зазывать. Вот так.
То есть the girl said that she is going to invite spring.
Будем
Окей.
песни петь до небес слышные, да и будем зазывать весну, а то уж зима-то надоела шибко.
Yeah, we're very tired from winter. Okay. Спасибо. Спасибо. Okay. Дом, house, Юрова house. think this is special equipment for making butter. Maybe. Like you notice, every house has this wall which separate kitchen from residential part of house. Our region is famous by very delicious butter. You can find the same butter anywhere. People who live in other cities came here to buy our butter. It's very, very popular. It's like a brand. Okay. The students. It's a butter churn named Victoria. 20th century, beginning 20th century. Different equipment for butter working machine. It's very interesting that this device called separator in Russian, and this sounds very similar because English word separator, yes, separator, divide. So it's in two parts. Where our cows? Oh, how many? 3. Good morning, lady and gentlemen. Раша. Сюда зайдем. Здесь люди жили зимой, да?
Да.
Ага. If you see the fence, it means that people live here only in winter.
Для рукоделия, для девушек рукоделием занимаюсь летом, тут и спали.
This room used only in the summer because this room doesn't have a furnace.
Стенела, но вот это вот такая фишечка очень даже интересная. То у них площадка для шкаленок работает, вот мы там не были.
Dolls, handmade dolls.
Сходились, но сейчас экспозиция древа жизни. На нем посмотреть все предметы быта того времени.
Тук-тук, нок-нок-нок. Здравствуйте. This house used like a school, like for administration. Oh, так. Russian furnace. Hello, children. I'm your new teacher. It's a joke. It's our old desk. Tick. It's a small furnace.
Поздней осенью 1800 отношение ко мне народу сразу переменилось.
Chair
Я
and
почти
table.
год добился постройки нового школьного здания.
And you can see
Стоившего крестьянскому обществу
obsolete,
около 500 рублей, что при нашей бедноте составляет
laptop.
громадную сумму.
Maybe this is iPad. Most of all, I remember the sixth floor house Yurova, late 19th century. In the interior of this house, in the economic part, there is an exposition dedicated to Russia, America, or rather, the history of the Russian settlement of Fort Coast in California, founded by the Russian American company in 1980. Of course, it's not by chance that the topic is touched upon here. Fort Ross was founded by the native of the Volga region, Ivan Kuskov, a native of the city of Tochma. So I'm sure that if you come here and if you decided to look at this museum, you will be fascinating. You will like it. I think it's very interesting. So welcome.